Welcome to Between the Covers, the show for readers and writers and lovers of books. I'm Stephanie Larkin, author, publisher, book coach, and head penguin of Red Penguin Books. We're a publishing company that works with authors of all types and genres. So if you have a book inside just waiting to come out or would like to write a book and just don't even know where to start, just visit us at redpenguinbooks.com and get started and unleash your inner author. A big thank you tonight to Don Pablo Coffee. If you're an author, you know you're probably up plenty of nights, and Don Pablo Coffee is the way to keep you up those nights, or during the day. Whenever it is that you need to be awake, Don Pablo Coffee. And a huge welcome to our guests. Today we are celebrating baseball, sports, spring, all the great things, and we've got our sports episode. So first off, we have author Mark Halfin. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
Sports marketer and extraordinaire and fundraiser and whatnot, Ken Zor.
Thank you.
And I called you on the ads, my super fan and my super dad, Tom Sands. I think the audience already knows you because you've been to every single episode. And you're the one that they hear clapping. So now that you're here, you'll notice there was no applause.
We have some fans out there.
I know, we have an audience, but they didn't know when to clap because you were up here. You still have to cue them, you know.
Okay, anytime you hear my name mentioned.
That'll do it. Well, before we get started, I wanted to give you all a Between the Covers membership card because it entitles you, well, usually we have wine. Tonight we have beer, because it's sports night.
Thank you.
So come on down anytime. I think
you.
your names are on it, and I think you two switched
There we
it.
go.
So before we get started, can I get you a beer?
I love beer.
Do you? You're welcome to it. That's what I
Maybe
said.
later.
I usually
drive.
I usually have wine on the set.
Yes.
Right.
My dad told me tonight I should have beer, and I also
Go to a
have
ball
root
game
beer.
and have beer. Yeah.
You want a root beer, Dad?
Yes.
And here's a bottle opener, if that helps.
See, I had to drive a long way.
And I had to get American beer because, you know, in my house I have all this Irish beer. And I said, yeah, I can't go on to a baseball episode and have.
If my wife sees me drink domestic, because
We're
we're
in trouble.
we're microbrew.
Oh,
people
you're a
now.
microbrew family.
She would look
Okay.
at this a little odd.
I know. I went to the store today and I was like, okay, I really better get American beer. Otherwise, I'm going to get in trouble. And we don't want to be trouble. Any audience members, if you're thirsty, just pop on up here. We've got a bottle opener and help yourself. So I know it's celebrating opening day. We don't open yet, but the Japanese open today.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Well, it was two American teams.
Yeah.
Though.
Oh, okay. Who
Yeah.
played and who won?
Seattle played Oakland.
Oakland, yep.
I must confess I didn't hear the final score. Anybody?
I didn't hear the final score, but a big take from that game is Ichiro Suzuki.
Right.
Who's a Japanese-born player, started his career in the Japanese leagues and then went to the major leagues where he had what's going to be a Hall of Fame career. And I think this is technically his last season. So for him to start the year for Major League Baseball as kind of like an ambassador to start the season
Yeah,
in
he's
Japan.
40-something, right?
Yeah, I think he's actually in his early to mid 40s.
Yeah.
Wow,
And
okay.
so to have the league start the year in Japan and have him as an ambassador is really good for the league to kind of kickstart it for next week.
Very cool.
Well,
very
you just
cool.
taught me something because this morning I'm watching, looking at scores, which I sometimes
Right.
do, and I see there's a baseball game going on at 7 in the morning.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Is this game going on? I thought, but now
Yeah.
Now you know.
Now
It's
I know.
opening
Time
day in
difference.
Japan.
In Japan, I should have known.
We have another week to go in America, but in Japan.
Right.
Now, do they have teams, or it's American
No,
teams
they-
playing?
Oh,
there?
they have great teams,
Mm-hmm.
and many of their top players end up
Over here.
coming here. And
Do we
doing
pay
quite
better?
well.
I mean,
Yes, yes.
we pay
much
obscene
better.
amounts. I know that.
Yeah.
The first year really was right around 1995 with
Okay.
the LA Dodgers. They signed a pitcher named Hideo Nomo.
Nomo.
So you're talking
Yeah.
23, 25 years ago, was the first big name Japanese player.
Okay.
And since then, in the last 25 years, almost, I guess within the last 5 or 7 years, there's almost one player every year coming over that
least.
seems to be the go-to player to get. But yeah, they start their career there. The game is definitely a little bit different as far as competition.
Okay.
But when they get to the major leagues, it's
Right.
it's more lucrative. They get exposed to the U.S. market and expand their brand from being a Japanese brand now to maybe a worldwide, like Ichiro actually is
Right,
a
right.
worldwide brand now.
Yeah,
because
I
of
mean,
his
even I've
exposure.
heard of Ichiro.
Yeah,
Right.
and it goes by their name exactly, like Cher, like Madonna.
Right,
you say
right, Ichiro.
Ichiro, and everyone
Right.
knows exactly who you're talking about.
And it shows it's really an
Japanese
international
pitcher on the
game.
Yankees,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got players now from virtually so many different countries, but they don't always speak English.
Right.
So the pitcher goes out to the mound, or the manager goes out to the mound. He goes with a translator, right,
Right.
to sometimes figure out what they're saying.
Seriously?
Seriously.
The
Yes.
Yankees opening day starter this year is Masahiro Tanaka,
Right.
and he's a Japanese player.
Did you practice saying that? Because that just rolled right off.
Oh,
your
it's he's been in town a while. I've had time
tongue. That
to
just
practice
rolled
it.
right off your tongue. Very well. Now, do we play Japanese teams ever? Does that like the way the American League plays the
Not
National League?
formally.
No.
The only time that happens, Little League, World Series.
Oh, yeah,
There
yeah.
might be a team from Japan.
Might be.
Yeah.
They're off
They're
the
always
list.
there. Yeah. They win quite often.
Yes.
Yeah. And they will play, an American team or two. Yeah.
Because I've heard the complaint that we call it the World Series, and yet it's just American teams. Well, and the Canadian team, right? Mm-hmm. So will they ever be like a World Series that everybody,
No.
No.
I'm a traditionalist with baseball. We were talking about some of the history
Yes.
before the show, and I don't like a lot of change. You're going to change some of the rules, but keeping it the World Series, keeping the NFL's trophy, the Lombardi Trophy,
Right.
keeping the Stanley Cup. I mean, that's how I grew up with it.
Right. You
So
like-
it's the World Series. That's
tradition,
just what it is. It's
Right.
not,
Don't
Right.
they get some players in the off season? They'll tour and play a few games, like in Cuba and some of the other places.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's not a league. but
Right,
they'll
right.
They have
compete.
something called the World Baseball Classic, the WBC. I
Okay.
forget if it's every 2 years or every 4 years, and it's not officially an Olympics type of thing, but it's USA versus Italy,
Okay.
Japan versus Cuba, Dominican Republic. So that's where the players have their, if you want to say, hometown pride, where they get to play for their country,
Gotcha.
almost like an Olympics.
Oh, okay.
But it's and that'll usually start before the baseball season starts. I forget if it's every 2 years or every 4 years, but they still do it to this day.
Oh, okay.
Well, this can be traced to something in my book about the dead ball era. They had world tours, so some of the great players, Christy Matheson and Cobb, especially John McGraw, manager of the Giants, they would take a bunch of stars and they'd go to Asia. They'd go to different countries. That was the first, to my knowledge, that's the first time the other countries were exposed to
Very cool.
American baseball. And obviously it took many decades, generations for it to come.
Now, I'm curious. I always heard the expression, why did they call it the dead ball?
We're going to get to that
Oh,
in just
all
a
right.
minute. But first, going with our baseball theme, our quote for the day to see if any of our viewers know our quote. We always put up a book quote. This one's a little bit of a tricky one. The phone number is 516-945-9099. And the quote is, "If you build it, he will come." Now, I'm sure all of our baseball fans
I know the answer. Okay.
know where that's from, but is the author Roger Kahn,
Oh.
James Earl Jones, W.P. Kinsella, or Mickey Mantle? So if you have an answer to that, please call 516-945-9099 and you will be winning a free copy of our author's book today. So let's see. It's a multiple choice question. We should be able to get this. You've got a 25% chance of getting it right. So give a call, okay? And while we're waiting for a phone call, we're going to break for a commercial and come back and learn about the dead ball era.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us. We'll be right back. a book, either in your head or on your desk, just waiting to get out to anxious readers? Hi, I'm Stephanie Larkin, author, book developer, and head penguin at Red Penguin Books. We're a publishing company specializing in books of all genres and publishing in all formats, including digital, audible, and print books. From business books to romance, memoirs to mysteries, our authors have complete control over their books from start to print. We'll help get your book to booksellers all around. Major booksellers such as Amazon, Apple, Kobo, Walmart, even libraries and bookstores around the world. We believe in our authors. So call or email today to get your free publisher's packet to get started. Just visit us at redpenguinbooks.com and get your book out there and into the hands of your readers. At Red Penguin Books, you call all the shots. So call us today and turn your dreams into a reality.
The sun is getting warmer, but when we soar away among the clouds, the sky is just a border, but when we're floating up like helium.
Well, welcome back to Between the Covers. Wow, applause, even with my dad sitting here. You managed to coax them in. Very good.
I almost started clapping myself.
All right, so before we
Second
broke for commercial, you asked a very important question about what is the Dead Ball era, which brings us to our guest author. And your two books, first one, Tales
That's
from the Dead Ball era, and Can a Dead Man Strike Out?
Well, the second book is not about the Dead Ball era. It's
Right, this is
Yes.
about the Dead Ball era, and this is about the dead man striking out.
yes. I have something about death.
You like death.
Right?
You like death in baseball.
To come back from the dead.
Well, let's start talking about the Dead Ball era, because until I read the book, and thank you for a
Yes,
copy, so I got to
you're
read
welcome.
it, I had no idea what the Dead Ball era was.
Okay.
So tell us about it, and most importantly, how'd you get interested in it? It was such a random thing when I read it.
Well, first of all, the Dead Ball era ran from approximately 1901 to 1920. And it's called the Dead Ball era because the ball was dead. The owners were exceedingly cheap, so they had to use the same ball, if possible, throughout the game. If the ball went into the stands, they go get it back. No, you could get arrested. If the ball went over a fence, like when we were kids, they would chase after it and get the ball and bring it back. But anyway, as the game progressed, the balls were not yet sewn with machine sewn. Mm-hmm. They gradually unravel, and they're keeping the ball in there. It's impossible to hit the ball too far. So what you do is you have to bunt. You can't hit the ball too far. It's almost impossible to hit a home run. The stands were also like 500 feet away, and the reason they did that is in the outfield they put up ropes, and behind the ropes you had all these fans around the whole field, on the field, in the outfield, left field line, the foul line, behind home plate, and so on. So the ball's dead. You can't hit it. So that changed around 1920. They brought in the lively ball.
They got better balls.
I say, baseball and other things. But anyway, so everyone knows about home runs, and there are at least a dozen players or more who have hit 4 home runs in a game. In the Dead Ball era, early on, right around the turn of the century, there were teams that hit for the entire season, hit 3 home runs. They weren't trying to hit home runs. No, because in fact, one manager once fined his player for trying to hit a home run. You can't hit it too far.
Right.
So they bunt, right? Now, there were home runs, but they were inside the park home runs, right? Because there were these huge fields, so you hit it in the gap, keeps going and going and going, right? So here's a question in my other book: who led the league in home runs without ever hitting the ball out of the park?
Interesting.
Ty Cobb. So he hit 9 homers to lead the American
Right.
League. I think it was 1909. They were all inside the park home runs. You know, that was the nature
Because the
of
park
game.
was that big.
The park was huge, but it was huge for monetary reasons because the stands, there were single level stands. You couldn't fit many fans just
Right,
in the
right.
stands. And you get these pictures. It's really amazing. The game's going on. The fans are everywhere. They're all along the right field line, all along the left field line. They put up ropes in the outfield, right? So now the outfield is going out to catch a ball. Well, hopefully it depends on which team you're on. This could be a little dangerous out there.
Right.
They would play dirty, So the other team, don't let them catch the ball, give them a little elbow. So that was, it was a very different game. And then the latter in the 1915, 16, 17, Babe Ruth came onto the scene. She came earlier and started hitting home runs like never before. And it drew millions of fans in. And gradually, there was a terrible incident in 17 or 19, where a player was killed, right? And, I think it was 1919, by a pitch.
Oh, Chapman.
Chapman. Right, Chapman.
Killed by a pitch?
Yeah.
Killed by a
Yeah,
pitch,
hit in the
right?
head.
Went to his head, and boom, he collapsed and died the next morning.
Oh, God.
And so right after that, they decided we better put new balls in. And the balls were dirty. Even if you put a new ball in, they start throwing it around the infield. Oil. By the time he gets it, the ball is black, And so, but then the game changed. So, but what was helpful to one player might be disadvantage to another. So it also changed not just the batting, the pitching, right? So we were speaking earlier. Today, you might have a couple of pitches. I don't even pitch 5-6 complete games in a season, if that, right? Those days, you better pitch the whole game, or you're not going to be in the league too long.
Really?
So there's one pitcher, Jack Taylor. He pitched 187 complete games, right? He pitched both ends of a doubleheader, right? The longest game in baseball history is 26 innings, right? It's between the Dodgers and the Braves in 1920, 26 innings. Both pitchers went the distance. They pitched all 26 innings.
Can you imagine how many
You get a
pitchers they would have
lawsuit
gone
today.
through? Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
It was just very different, right? And the fighting and the violence and the gambling and stuff, So there's Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth, I don't know. He would have been in the Hall of Fame as a pitcher. He came up as a pitcher. He was one of the best pitchers in
that
the
I know,
league,
yeah.
right? So he's on the mound one day and he throws a pitch. Ball 1, ball 2. He's cursing him, right? Ball 3, ball 4. This is the first batter, right? Ruth goes up, boom, smashes the umpire, right? Okay, we'll fine him for a few days. But it turned out to be a famous game in baseball history because he pitched to one batter, the reliever came in and got everyone else out, and they called it as a perfect game.
Perfect game.
Oh, the batter got caught stealing,
Right.
and he got all the others out. So I have a question in the other book I'm going to have to change. How do you pitch a perfect game when you allow a runner to reach base?
Right.
Yes,
sure.
Right?
yes.
So it had been ruled a perfect game, but baseball changed its rules and changed history. They no longer count that as a perfect
Right.
game. So the rule changes, and but baseball was evolving then. There were constant rule changes. So actually, if you go back even to the latter part of the 19th century, right now 4 balls are a walk, right? Well, 1880s or 70s even, it was 9 balls for a walk.
Wow.
Then 8 balls, then 7, then 6.
Oh
As
my
the pitches
gosh.
got better and better,
Right.
they changing the
Those
rules.
games must have been long, though.
Oh no.
No?
No.
I figured 9 balls.
9 balls. I think that game would go on
Well,
forever.
maybe in the latter part of the 19th century,
Right.
but today baseball game could go 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
If any game went over 2 hours, the fans would go nuts. It's much too long. every game in the 1919
Okay, I
World
agree.
Series. I agree too. Every game in the 1919 World Series, it was a famous World Series with the Black Sox scandal. But
Right.
every game was under 2 hours, right?
So what's taking it so long now? We only have 4 balls.
Well,
Commercials,
no.
yeah.
Well, not just
Commercials.
commercials.
Yeah.
They go, they pitch, right? They hit, and you see the batter, Frigidy getting his stance
Fixing
correct.
their gloves.
Yeah,
Pitches
he
thinking.
gets out and
then
walks
he lets
around.
it get off
Right.
the mound. Let me
Yeah.
take a walk, So the games were an hour and a half, or an hour. There was one game that was 56 minutes. And the Giants actually won 6-1. I could never figure out how they scored 7 runs in 56 minutes. But they would just throw it. That's it. Get the players
It's
out.
funny, based on what you're saying, like in today's game, what drives a lot of fans crazy, guys up at bat, and they wear batting gloves. Takes a pitch, doesn't swing, but he's got to step out and readjust
Redo
the gloves.
right? No.
Yeah.
I even hear
that's-
some of the stories with older baseball of the players using each other's gloves. They would run in from their position but leave the glove in the field.
Well,
Right.
not only would they leave the glove in the field, they put it in
For the
their
other
back
team.
pocket.
Yeah.
No, they're small gloves, So
Yep.
they would,
Yeah, they were small.
Right. And right around the early 1900s, they didn't even want all the players to have gloves, just the first baseman and the catcher.
The rest of them were barehanded?
Tough players, what do they need gloves for, The ball is soft, you don't understand. So
Right.
it makes a little sense, But then they changed the baseball and people started hitting home runs, and Ruth changed the game in 1920. Baseball basically changed to the game we see today.
Now, you got to tell me on a personal note, you're a philosophy professor. How did you get into baseball?
Well,
To write books. I mean, it's not just that you like the
Right.
game. I mean, you're
I
writing
mean,
books.
I loved baseball as a kid, and I followed, I read, I did
Right. But
everything.
you wrote books about it.
Well, the first book, it was literally 20 years in the works. The other book is different theme. It's about baseball oddities. How can
Right,
a dead
right.
man strike out and
Right,
things
right.
like that. But that started with my son Jesse, because when he was so I always loved baseball, but drifted away. And then when he was like 5 years old, I'd go to Little League. Craziest things would happen, right? And I had a little notebook next to my bed and jotting things down. And for the next 10 years, this is going back, every time there was an oddity, I would just write it down, not even complete sentences. So 10 years go by and I have all this information. It's going back. I said, I can't write a book unless I do the research, and I'm not going to the library every week. And my friend says, it's on the internet, It's like, no, but this was and you got to be careful. And I started doing the research, and I
Nice.
was fortunate to have it published. But crazy questions in there about dead
Yeah,
person
yeah.
striking out, and
Yeah, you got to give us the answer to that
you
before
got to
the
buy
end
the
of the
book.
That's right.
But
I'll get the quote right, and I'll get a
okay,
free
all
book.
right. But questions: how does a pitcher win a game without throwing a pitch? Right? How can that happen? How's this one? Which major league player never played in a major league game? It makes it okay.
He was on the roster, but he never played.
Well, no.
No?
If he's a major league player, you go to his record. It puts down 1, but he never played in a major league game.
Who is it?
Anyway.
Anyway, he's going to
And I'm
leave us there.
thinking-
Anyway, we're going to break for a short
okay.
commercial, and we'll be right back. Thanks.
See, I thought if you're on the
That's right, keep it going, keep it going. That's right, keep it going, keep it going.
Are you a tie lover? You love the diversity in ties because they come in different colors, fabrics, patterns, etc. Get access to a wide variety of neckties. Buy from or trade with other tie lovers. Don't wear ties anymore? You have more ties than you know what to do with? Want to turn all those ties into real money? Do you just need a tie? You just need a tie for a special occasion. Now you can buy a tie today and sell it tomorrow. The Necktie Exchange, the online retailer where you buy, sell, and trade neckties. Register today.
Welcome back to Between the Covers, and thanks for joining us for our great sports episode. We have with us today Ken Zor, who is sports marketing, fundraising. Tell us what you do, because I love this.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thrilled.
I'm a Long Island native, and actually my background goes back to the university that these guys teach at, Nassau Community College. I was a student there. I didn't really know what I wanted to do with my career at all. I took a sports class there.
That kind of sums up most of the students.
Yeah.
So look what happens after you don't know what to do.
Hey, the college is a great college.
Great, absolutely.
I took the class. I didn't really realize that you can work in sports on the business side of things. I thought you had to be an athlete, coach, doctor, that kind of a thing. And that particular summer, I went back to summer school and took 16 credits to get my associates. Because again, I was kind of scatterbrained on what was going to happen. From there, I transferred to St. John's University in Queens, got my sports management degree.
Right.
And all during that time, I had secured an internship with the New York Jets football team when they were at Hofstra University.
Okay.
So for the 3 years between Nassau and St. John's University, I was interning there.
Nice.
Graduated St. John's in May of 2001 and started full-time with the Jets that year. I kind of made a position for myself. So from 99 through 2006, the end of 06, I was with the Jets doing game operations and events, all the halftime shows, anthem singers, all the commercials that you see in stadium, and all the activities and promotions, and parlayed that into the next step up, I guess if you want to say, from an internship. I got a full-time job, did that for a few years, then I got a director position with the New York Islanders, doing operations, events, and game ops as well. This was at the Nassau Coliseum with the New York Islanders. Wound up staying there for 4 years. From there, I did some charity work on the outside as far as a full-time position.
Right.
And all through my St. John's years, my Jets years, my Islanders years, I was volunteering at different foundations. Marty Lyons Foundation, which is the shirt I'm wearing today, is one of the charities that I'm really in deep with today. The Joe Namath Foundation, New York Jets quarterback. Ron Darling from the Mets, Bobby Valentine with former Met manager, some of the other charities as far as sports that related. But really within the last 10 years, the Marty Lyons Foundation really has sunk it in with me as far as being a part of them. And also since working for the teams, I started my own sports marketing on the side, KZ Sports Marketing, obviously my initials. But really just taking the passion of the different experiences that I had, working events, working game days, doing player appearances, working for the charities, and I figured if I can do that for an entity like a team, I can probably do it as a contractor, if you want to say, as a hired gun. So over the years, the last 6 or 7 years, I've been able to parlay that into different experiences, stuff for me as far as opportunities on the business side, getting player appearances for athletes, getting some sponsorships for athletes, doing media opportunities, things like that. I actually wound up teaching the sport marketing course that I took at Nassau.
Nice.
Thanks to Tom getting me involved. Guest speaking in classes, and then again, all coming back to the charity side of it.
Right.
Which is one of the things that really, especially this year, getting a lot more involved with Marty Lyons Foundation being number one for me. The foundation's been around since 1982. 36 years now. They grant wishes for terminally ill children between the ages of 3 and 17, or children that have critical ailments or illnesses.
Right.
And what separates the foundation from something like a Make-A-Wish, which is very similar,
Right.
is that Marty's foundation will give a second wish to a kid. So if a kid happens to beat the odds, I apologize, if a kid happens to turn for the worse,
Okay.
and they already had a wish,
Gotcha.
and all other medical procedures are not helping them progress anymore, and if there happens to be a light at the end of the tunnel on the negative side of it, they will grant another wish for a child.
That's great.
So in the 36 years, it's been 7,600 wishes, which is about
Wow.
211 wishes a year. When you do the math, figure it out. Obviously, some years a little bit more than others.
Right.
But one of the things I love about it is for every dollar you donate, 90 cents, 90% of what you donate goes to the kids.
Oh, that's
So
great,
they're
90%.
they're what you
Not all
call.
charities are like that.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of overhead. They only have.
Some charities that get 10%.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
10% of the dollar goes to the program expenses. There's a ton of volunteers. There's a ton of donations as far as products, merchandise, auction items. Obviously, the celebrities and the athletes that will get involved with their celebrity golf outing and whatnot donate their time. And then the employees, there's one full-time employee and 2 part-time employees. So again, they keep their costs down. They have 10 chapters throughout the country. They've expanded. And all of the chapters, they're all run by volunteers. So again, they keep that hard number of 90% of the dollar that goes to
Wow.
them.
Great.
There's a couple other charities in New York with big name celebrities that have a lot of overhead and cost to it. So for every dollar you donate, not to name any names, but some
Right.
of them you'll donate and only 68% or
Sure.
68 cents or 75 cents of the dollar goes.
Or like you said, or even just 10 cents. Some of
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Not all
Yeah.
charities are so
No, you're
reputable.
right.
Be
You're right.
So that's one of the things that I liked about it, because for every dollar that you're getting in, 90% goes to the cause, and they really rely on the expertise of the volunteers to provide their services. So it's something that just touches me. I've been able to grant a few wishes, and just to be able to get involved with the family from the initial consultation of what the child might need,
Right.
whether it be a special needs child that might need a motorized wheelchair, to
wow.
maybe a sickened child and their family who's never been to Disney.
Right.
They'll send them to
Right.
Disney on a cruise, or even something as simple as a PlayStation or a laptop or an iPhone because their family can't afford it. So some of the wishes are on the higher end: the cruises, the trips to Disney,
Mm-hmm. Right.
the home or the renovation of the home to make it ADA accessible,
Right.
all the way down to maybe a couple $100 for an iPhone, for
Mm-hmm.
a laptop or something like that, and they all vary.
Now, he has a golf tournament, right? How
Yes,
does that work?
the golf tournament is in its 34th year this year.
Okay.
34th annual Marty Lyons Foundation Celebrity Golf Classic. It's going to be at Bethpage State Park this
Oh,
year,
right
which
here.
is where the PGA Championship's going to be this year.
Right.
It is a public course, but the PGA will be there at Bethpage Black. It's our 34th year. It's on Monday, July 8th this year. My role with the foundation, because of my contacts, because of my background, is really twofold. I provide event operation services, if you
Right.
want to say, on a volunteer. And because of my contacts, I secure raffle items, auction items, and most importantly, the celebrities.
Nice.
Because when the golfers are paying X amount of dollars, they're going to get a celebrity to golf with them.
Right.
And of course, you want to give them some value on that for the money that they're spending. So even though that we are 90% efficient as far as the dollar value goes, we make sure that all the celebrities, for the most part, they live in the tri-state area, so they can get there on their own. We don't fly them in. We don't give them hotels. We don't give them limos. We don't
Okay.
spend all that
Right.
extra money. We want them to come because they want to come.
Nice.
And there are celebrities out there, which is my challenge that I face every year. Well, I can't come unless I get X, Y, and Z.
Right.
Or I can't come because I live in Oklahoma.
Right.
Can you fly me in? And we love the fact that they want to get involved, but we have our mission.
Right.
The mission is the
Yeah.
kids, and it's 90% of the dollar. And if we pay for flights and hotels,
Exactly.
it's just going to start chipping away at the bottom line.
Could you tell our viewers how we can help?
Sure. MartyLyonsFoundation.org. Obviously, on social media, you have Instagram, you have Twitter, you have Facebook. Just do the search in there as far as the name for the foundation. They're based right here on Long Island. Marty Lyons himself played 11 years for the New York Jets, so he's been on Long Island, I believe, since 1979.
Okay.
He grew up in Florida, went to school at the University of Alabama. For the college fans out there, Alabama is the big school right now that's going. So Marty kind of parlayed his college college championship. He won a championship with Alabama. Was an All-American there as well. He parlayed that into the New York Jets as a first-round draft pick. Started the foundation because of some personal things that went on in his life, of some birth and some deaths that happened with one of the kids that he was. And actually, not to make that not to gloss over it, he started the foundation because he was a big brother to a kid.
Oh, okay.
Who happened to pass away.
Gotcha.
And the kid passed away on the same week that I believe his father passed away, which is the same week that his first son was born. So within a week period, he lost 2 important people, and then obviously he gained a son.
Right.
So he came to this revelation where I got to help. I got to do something bigger. So that was obviously 1982, moving into where we are today. 36 years later, he does TV, he does radio with the Jets still. He works for a company here on Long Island still. He's based here on Long Island. The foundation's based here on Long Island. And even though we have chapters throughout the country, New York, tri-state area, Long Island is home for us. And as far as how people can help, again, just go to the website.
Terrific.
Volunteer. People think that volunteering is not a way to help. They think monetarily, I can't afford to give you $20, $30, $100, but maybe you can afford an hour, 3 hours, 5 hours of your time. Maybe you can afford to donate beer at a golf outing, or donate shirts and jerseys as raffle items because of the connections you might have.
Right.
There's always different ways that people can get involved, not just monetarily.
I like it. All right, we're going to go to commercial, but let's check out MartyLyonsFoundation.org.
Yes.
Thanks.
Gary Carter's fading back here.
Oh.
He's sliding down.
Everybody get up when you're feeling down. Everybody get up, turn your life around.
When you trust yourself, you have the power to make up your life. Studio 1031 is an environment where excellence is always expected. We work with all types of people from all walks of life. We give deserving women something that they wouldn't give themselves.
Everybody get up.
Come join this makeup movement. When you're feeling down, turn your life around. Make up your life.
Do you have a book, either in your head or on your desk, just waiting to get out to anxious readers? Hi, I'm Stephanie Larkin, author, book developer, and head penguin at Red Penguin Books. We're a publishing company specializing in books of all genres and publishing in all formats, including digital, audible, and print books. From business books to romance, memoirs to mysteries, our authors have complete control over their books from start to print. We'll help get your book to booksellers all around. Major booksellers such as Amazon, Apple, Kobo, Walmart, even libraries and bookstores around the world. We believe in our authors. So call or email today to get your free publisher's packet to get started. Just visit us at redpenguinbooks.com and get your book out there and into the hands of your readers. At Red Penguin Books, you call all the shots. So call us today and turn your dreams into a reality.
That way.
Welcome back to Between the Covers. Well, I couldn't possibly have a sports episode without asking my dad to be a special guest. My dad is not just a super fan of sports and a sports marketing professor, but he is also a super fan of this show. And as a super fan of this show, he gets something that no other fans get. And that is an on-the-air birthday wish. So would you
Oh,
please
boy.
join me in singing Happy birthday to you.
Oh, look at this.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Dad. Happy birthday to you. See, you
is a
get
surprise.
you get the only on-the-air birthday because you're our best fan.
And he just confessed to me that he turned 38.
Is he a whole 38? I don't know.
Now I have to make a wish.
You have to make a wish. And I have plates and everything here for us to have cake.
Oh, okay. Well, I know
It's a good TV
exactly
show.
what I'm wishing.
He's wishing that the
you
Mets
say
are going to
it?
win this season.
No.
He doesn't want to say it because then they won't win this season.
Could I say my wish?
You could say your wish.
Okay. This is going to sound corny,
Go ahead.
but I hope this is the best year for the Marty Lyons Foundation.
Yeah.
Raising money.
Yeah.
I like
Okay.
that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's a
I
good wish.
can't think of anything
That
more
one will
worthwhile
come
than that.
true. Absolutely.
I'll never blow these all out.
Well, it looks like you're 5 years old.
All right.
Did you put one of those candles that don't go out?
All right.
Hey.
All right, pass it over here. I'll start slicing it up.
Yeah, I'm a lousy
It's
slicer.
my kind of TV show.
Oh,
Beer, food.
There isn't one of those special candles.
I think it is a special candle. Is that a trick candle?
Not on purpose.
Not on purpose? Let's see. That's why I told you you are our biggest fan of this show. You've been at it goes
It
back up
is.
there.
Yep.
You've been at every single episode. You're the only person who's been at every single episode besides me. So you absolutely get a cake.
Don't put it on your.
Oh.
That's your book thing. You don't want to damage that.
Oh,
Oh, whoa. Okay.
Give it a Kieran.
Yeah. Let's not start a fire on the set.
No.
So while I slice up your cake, happy birthday, Dad.
Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. It's just
A
truly
TV
a surprise.
A TV birthday.
Yes.
So besides that, and besides being my dad, you are also a sports marketing professor. And did you know that sports marketing influenced this whole thing going on here?
well,
Yes.
He was your student.
You know. Well, you weren't actually in my
No,
class.
Okay.
Professor Casper, but
Right.
you started me on speaking to the students
Right.
as far as being a guest speaker in class.
Right.
Really?
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
he would come to class and he would tell them about, starting at Nassau, not knowing what he wanted to do and getting interested. And
I love that
so forth.
story because how many students are there thinking the same thing? I don't know what I want to do. And they love
typical.
seeing.
It's funny, just to jump in on that real quick. Professor Casper, is he still on campus?
No, he may teach, adjunct once in a while.
Professor
but-
Casper was my professor for that class.
No, I
Right.
haven't got.
You got one? And I remember sitting in the front of the class, one of the rare times I sat in front because it was not knowing what I wanted
Yeah.
to do in life. And
Right,
who wants to
right,
sit
you didn't want to sit in the front.
But I
Yeah, I
sat in
get
front
that.
because it was sports. And the first day of the class, he held up the internship for the New York Jets. And they had said, if you're interested, here's the flyer, fill out whatever. It might have even been an email back in '99, whenever it was.
Right.
And I remember sitting up in my chair and writing the information down because I've never heard of an internship. But I was like, that'd be cool to work at the Jets because I was a fan of the team. And
Right,
it's right
right.
next
Sure.
door at Hofstra. So it was one of those things, again, as far as a student goes, not knowing what an internship can do for you. I remember sitting up in my chair and just writing the information down really quick and then going home to my sister, who happened to be in law school, she's a lawyer now, and saying, I need a resume. What's a resume? Because I didn't know any of that stuff.
Right.
But of course, the flyer had said, send your resume in and all this kind of
Right.
stuff. So
And now look what you're doing.
now I'm proofreading resumes.
Now, you may be unaware of this. We now have at Nassau a sport marketing degree.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
No, okay.
we just started it, it's like a year old, yeah. So we're trying to push that now.
Okay.
So it's just a year now that you can get a sport marketing degree?
Well, no. We've had it in effect. We had to get it approved by the state and
Gotcha.
everything, But it's official now.
Now, what do students take for that degree?
Well, they have to take, we have sport marketing, we have sport management, we have sport law.
Oh,
There's even a history of sports in America course.
really?
They don't have to take that, but
Okay.
that's listed. But then because it deals mostly with the business side of sports, So they're going to be taking courses like, economics, a couple of those, business law.
They're not
Okay.
taking philosophy.
What?
Well, maybe they should.
They could.
No, they could. They
Right,
have
just
to
to
take
satisfy
a couple
certain
humanities.
requirements.
Right.
As an
So,
elective, sure.
Yes,
And, I think you wrote a book on ethics, right?
I did.
Yes.
I'll be back.
Okay,
No,
you'll be back.
There's a lot of ethical issues in sports.
Oh, of course.
Oh,
Yes,
I'm sure there's a lot of ethical issues in
issues,
sports.
so-
Well, that's one of the things I write about because early in the dead ball era, cheating was rampant, and
Right.
19 World Series was rigged, and
Yeah.
it's where the shoeless Joe Jackson story.
Right.
So they would take courses like that. They would have to take, which is very appropriate in today's world, the math course we want them to take is statistics.
Wow, yeah.
They use a lot of analytics in sports
Sure,
now.
sure.
Analytics is big.
So they have to take, it's got to be a well-rounded degree.
Sure.
It's not just sport.
Of course.
things,
No, that's good.
And then, they might take some other marketing courses. They have electives. They could take, marketing research, advertising and promotion.
Right.
Public relations, courses like that. So we're very excited we have that in our department now. Now we just got to drum up some business, and get students.
All right, you hear that,
Publicize
students?
a little.
Sports marketing at Nassau Community College. It's a new major.
And as far as Nassau goes, it's a good, if you're looking to get into the sports world, it's a good taste of what the courses they'll offer.
Right.
You get your
Right.
2-year degree. Then when you go and you transfer to your 4-year degree to get your bachelor's,
Right.
that's when you'll continue doing what Tom said. You'll take your sports law classes. You'll take your,
Yeah.
I took sociology
Okay.
as far as some of the humanities
Yes.
courses and stuff. But the same thing that you do at for your associate's program, you do wind up taking to get your bachelor's.
Right,
But it's a
right.
great launching point to
and
see if you want to do it.
What I tell all my students right in the beginning, we talk about sports, but we're not going to get into like who won last night, who scored how many. We might talk about that for a couple minutes just to warm them up. But it's the business side of sports that we
Right, right.
talk about. So we'll get into sponsorship, licensing, advertisements, endorsements, all of the business side. And like you said, wow, I could work for a team, a club, a league, you
Right,
know.
like you get to work for a team and not be an athlete or a trainer,
Right.
like you said, which is great. I mean,
And it's funny,
big business.
I get a lot of athletes in my class, and from different teams: football, lacrosse, tennis, male and female. And I'll say, now be honest. I'm going to ask you this question: how many of you really think you could become a professional athlete? Have the ability. Most of them won't raise their hand.
Right.
Well, they're honest.
They're honest at that point. I
Yeah.
said, but you still could be involved in sports.
Yeah, it's a big business.
When I
Yeah.
was working for the New York Jets, I was our internship program, because we were the events department. We had about 35 interns every summer for the training camp. And one of the things that I loved was not hiring, but allowing an internship, giving an internship to a student who was an athlete. Because the athletes normally are a little bit more focused. They can take direction because they listen
Yes.
to a
Right, right.
coach or a trainer. They have to balance work, they have to balance a part-time job, they have to balance their academics, they have to balance their athletics out of it. So it gives you that skill set without you even knowing it.
Right.
But that was one of the criteria that I would look at. Your GPA might be a little lower, but the other things that make you up, your leadership skills, your communication skills,
Right.
they
It's not just grade point
they
average.
grow those things as being a teammate, as being in a team, in an
Right.
atmosphere like that.
That's great.
See,
And-
what I tell them too, picking up on your background, tell them, you want to get into this business. Networking's important. Doing internships important. You got to get to know people. They got to get to know you. And you tell them that. And
It's
I'll
a
say
great
one
field.
thing, because even though I get a lot of athletes, the coaches check up on them all the time. They want to know how they're doing in class. Are they coming to class? What are their grades?
We get forms each faculty.
Yes,
gets a
and
form.
they
Is this
keep
player?
up with that.
What's
So
the grade? And how
I
much
tell them, don't think because you're an athlete you're going to skate by, you're going to get special privilege. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't.
And to touch on that point, we have these. There's what you would call a scandal going on in college sports right now, with some advisors with college teams and some assistant coaches being charged with accepting bribes from sponsorship
Yes.
companies like an Adidas. for certain athletes to attend certain Adidas schools.
Right.
And that's it. You can Google it. It's all out there
Yeah,
right
yeah.
now.
Yeah, that's been
and
all-
and that's where the ethical part of it
Right.
comes back in
Sure.
with either the athlete or the actual coaching staff. But it's big business. You're seeing it play out in the legal system right now because of what's going on there. But it's big business. And,
Yeah.
and another part of the business, it's actually kind of like a little bit of a trivia question for everybody. The most valuable sports franchise in the world is who or what?
I can't say that word.
I'm guessing it's not what's written on the front of my.
WWA.
It's an NFL team.
Okay, so
It's the Dallas
Cowboys.
Oh, yes.
So in the entire world, they're valued right about $4.8 billion according to Forbes Business.
Yeah.
And the top 5 most valuable sports teams in the world, 2 of them are from the domestic United States. It's the Dallas Cowboys being number 1, and the Yankees, I believe, are 5th.
okay.
I'm sorry, the Yankees are 4th. The other 3 teams in the world are European and foreign soccer.
I was going to say soccer.
When
Yeah,
you have the
soccer.
students that
Barcelona,
that go,
or
they think of the NBA, NHL,
Yeah.
MLB, and NFL. They don't think about anything else outside of this country. But
Right.
here you are, the top 5 valuable franchises. 3 of them are soccer teams,
That's
and
right.
nobody ever thinks of that.
Now,
ever.
you know, being a football giant fan too, you know, of course the Cowboys are arch rivals. But what helps them with their total value, Jerry Jones owns that stadium.
Correct.
You know, he doesn't lease it.
Right,
rent
right.
it. He owns it, so that's part of the value. And that's a big
And there's all that
stadium.
merchandising
Yep.
and those
Yep.
cheerleaders and all that other stuff.
Dallas Cowboys have cheerleaders?
We're going to take a short commercial break. We'll be right back. Have some cake.
Me llaman Dan Pablo y hace más de 20 años me enamoré de una colombiana. Viajé a su país y conocí un estilo de café muy distinto, muy especial. Ahora tostamos cafés excelentes, con alturas y microclimas diferentes, resultado en una taza muy compleja y muy rica, un sabor nuevo en el mundo. Fue un éxito. And I even got to keep the girl.
Inspired by aerobic classes and a dream, Body by Tamika has helped hundreds of women reach their fitness goals. One size doesn't fit all, and neither should your fitness experience. Body by Tamika is about creating an environment where women can come together to work out, meet new friends, and get inspired. Whether you desire to lose weight, tone up, or prepare for a mommy makeover, Body by Tamika is here to help. Body by Tamika is considerate to female weight loss challenges resulting from pregnancy and or life changes that can be extremely resistant to diet and exercise. For stubborn problem areas, Body by Tamika offers non-invasive aesthetic procedures such as laser lipo and wood slimming body contouring. Book your free consultation today to see for yourself.
Are you a tie lover? You love the diversity in ties because they come in different colors, fabrics, patterns, etc. Get access to a wide variety of neckties. Buy from or trade with other tie lovers. Don't wear ties anymore? You have more ties than you know what to do with? Want to turn all those ties into real money? Do you just need a tie? You just need a tie for a special occasion. Now you can buy a tie today and sell it tomorrow. The Necktie Exchange, the online retailer where you buy, sell, and trade neckties. Register today.
Welcome back to Between the Covers. I'm so glad you joined us today. Let's just make sure we know where to find you. Mark, where can we find you and where can you find these great
Well,
books?
a lot of people know where to find
All
me,
right, your
but-
books. Where can they hold your books up again so we can see your books?
Okay, so it's kind of, this one is this, Tales from the Dead Ball Era.
You forgot
Show
the
the
title?
other one.
Can a Dead Man Strike Out? Both are available on Amazon.
Amazon.
They make wonderful gifts for friends and relatives.
Absolutely.
And actually, they're a lot of fun. If you like baseball, I think you'll enjoy the books.
They are a lot of fun.
And, you know, as I said earlier, it took years to write it, but it was a lot of fun, and I think people can appreciate it.
All right, so with baseball season coming up, for the baseball lover in your life, buy one of these books. That would be great. Where can we find you, and what can we do?
Really, for the two, KZ Sports Marketing and also Marty Lyons Foundation. For KZ Sports Marketing, you can go to all the social media platforms, as well as kzsportsmarketing.com. KZ Sports Marketing for Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and then the same thing with the Marty Lyons Foundation, martylyonsfoundation.com, and also on the social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Just do the search on there and it pops right up.
Money, hours, time.
Yeah, and like I mentioned before, really, a lot of people always say they don't have the money.
Right.
But it's not just about money. It's what you can do with your time, with your contacts at work. If it's not you, maybe a coworker or a colleague of some sort might have a connection with something. So it's not always about money, even though money is something that's always appreciated.
Gotcha. And Dad, where can we find out more about sports marketing at Nassau Community
well, they
College?
could contact me directly at the school. My email is Thomas, Thomas, .sands @ncc.edu. The only thing I ask, if you contact me, you have questions, I'd be more than happy to meet with, parents, your son, your daughter, and talk about the program. But if you contact me by email, make sure you give me your full name and mention you're not a student yet. Sometimes my students go to contact me and they say, hey, this is Amanda. Well, I have, lots of students. I may have 6 Amandas. I don't know which one you are.
They think they're your favorite Amanda.
You'd be surprised how many times they get that.
I wouldn't be surprised at all.
They'll say to me, oh, you're my favorite professor. And I'll say, I thought I heard you say that to another professor down the hallway.
Well, I've got all of their information and links also at BetweenTheCoversTV.com. So if you forgot everything, and hopefully you didn't because it was fabulous, but just go to BetweenTheCoversTV.com, and all of the links are there so that you could learn more about these books, about sport marketing, about Marty Lyons, and about majoring in sport marketing and maybe becoming a professional. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you next week on Between the Covers.